Hello Spartans! Today we are going to be learning how to make a Kumihimo braid. It's a Japanese form of braiding and it turns out pretty cool. You can make really neat designs. You can use yarn or you can use embroidery floss or anything else that you happen to have at home that would work for braiding. The first thing you're going to need is a circle tracer of some sort, a pencil, a scissor, and some paperboard to make a Kumihimo disc. I used an Uncrustables box. Hopefully you have a box of some sort at home that you can use, and find some sort of a circle that isn't too big or too small. This fits like right in the palm of my hand. Smaller is better, but you don't want too small. So if you can find a circle, trace with a pencil or a marker or whatever around the outside and then take it away. You'll use your scissors then to cut it out, but I have already cut mine out, so the wonders of camera work. So here's mine, and what you'll be needing to do is to make some cuts in it. We are going to make a disc that looks kind of like this with some lines and some cuts. So what I like to do first is find the center and then take a pencil that's kind of dull and carefully, I'm going to spread your fingers apart, poke your pencil through. And if you have a nice thick board, it's kind of hard to do. There we go. And all we're doing is poking it in the middle. Then the next thing we want to do is make some marks around the outside. We're going to be making 8 marks around the outside. So I like to do like a clock. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then 1 in between. You can figure out what time that's going to be. So there we go. We have our 8 marks on our disc. Now your scissor comes into play again. You're going to cut all the way around every little notch. You don't want to cut too far, and you don't want to cut too little. You want just right. About maybe 1/4 of an inch or so. All right, so there's my disc, ready to roll. The next thing we're going to need is 7 strands of yarn, and I've got my 7 here. I used red heart yarn and some other random yellow yarn that I just happen to have at home. So what you're going to be doing to measure is take the end of your yarn, and I like to measure my arm's length, so 7 arm's lengths of yarn. If you want to be really specific and measure it with a ruler, that is fine. But 7 strands, and you can decide if you want more yellow than red or more red than yellow. It's up to you. Then gather all the strands together, and you're going to wrap around your finger, make a loop, tuck all the tails in, and then pull. And this is going to be your ending piece. I'm not going to pull too tight because I've already tied it on this end. So if you pull really tight, you'll have a little end. You want enough so that when you're done with the bracelet, you can tie it together. Notice on my examples here how they're a little bit longer. All right, next step. You are going to take your disc and push gently, and this might take a little doing, your knot through the hole, and I see mine needs a little bit more. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Wiggle. There we go. And push your knot through that hole. So that the tail of your knot is on the back. And I like to put the busy design side with the knot tail because you're going to be looking at this part of the disc, and I'd rather look at something plain than this. It's kind of busy for my eyes, but totally up to you. Then pick out your yarn strands, put 1 in each notch. I like to go every other one. If you have multicolored strands, it really doesn't matter what order you put them in. Personal preference. Okay, so now you have something that resembles a little jellyfish. And here's our disc. We've got a strand in every notch except one. So this one notch is going to always face you. Then all you got to do is count to 3. So we're going to count the very first notch that has yarn in it. 1, 2, 3. Going to take the third notch, yarn, bring it down to the empty notch. And then turn to the right. So the notch is facing you again. Now count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Bring that yarn down to the empty notch. Turn your plate or your disc. 1, 2, 3. Turn to the right. And there's lots of little rhymes you can say to remember. You can say 1, 2, 3. Bring it down to me. Turn to the right. 1, 2, 3. Bring it down to me. Turn to the right. Now, you're going to notice that your jellyfish is getting a bit tangled. So, in order to solve that problem, you're going to want to comb your jellyfish out a little bit with your hands. Just take your fingers and kind of comb it out. This will make your jellyfish happy so it doesn't get all tangled up. And just keep doing that. Counting to 3, bringing the notches down, turning it to the right, and eventually your braid is going to start to grow through the bottom. It's going to start looking like this. Now, this has been worked on for quite a while, so it's going to take a little longer for you to get to that point. But eventually, you keep on going, and it will make that nice long braid. And you can measure it around your wrist and see how big you want it to be. If you want it to go around your ankle, or maybe you're making a super long one that's going to go around your neck, it's totally up to you. How you're going to end it then is taking your yarn out of these notches. So I'm plucking them all out. The last one. So I've got them all loose. Pull them out of your disc. Take those yarn strands, make a loop, tuck them through, wiggle your yarn on down until you get to the end, tighten it up, and you have yourself a bracelet ready to tie onto your wrist or ankle or whatever. My daughter uses these on her bowling bags, so she knows they're hers. And you could tie them on luggage, you could put them on your backpack, or wear them around proudly. Tell everybody that you are a Spartan. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy making the Kumihimo braids. Bye-bye.